All right, welcome everybody. How you guys all doing tonight? We are going to do a little bit of a secret session. So we got Proud Clown over here, Dave. Dave's been charting for quite a while, man. He's been here helping on as a moderator on the board. He's been making a bunch of really great videos, helping everybody out. I have his charts pulled up over there on the side. You guys can see that. So listen, the guy has been working his tail off and for a long time, and I'm really proud of him. Henceforth, that's not why he's called Proud Clown. I don't know why he's called Proud Clown. I'm sure we'll figure it out one day. But you know, he's been doing a lot of hard work, putting in a lot of work, and really just giving back to the crypto community. Really appreciate that. Everybody say welcome to. Do you want to be Dave or Proud Clown?
Dave.
Dave, we'll call him Dave. There you go. So we got Dave in the house. So listen, today, mostly what I want to talk about today is just some of the articles that I pulled up. I'm going to go over and give me a second. I'm going to bring up my twatter. I'm going to bring my little chirping bird twatter up. Listen, I posted this article today. Well, shoot. I posted an article back in October of the yonder years, right? So if you guys remember, I posted an article way back October of 2018. Almost feels like forever in crypto. And listen, I had kind of specced out four things that I had felt needed to happen in crypto in 2019, right? So I gave these predictions back in 2014. I need to go find it. Where did they go? There we are. So these are the predictions. One or more major unregulated exchange, ICOs, CEOs, founders will be extradited to the United States for financial crimes. Exchanges will expand fiat and multiple trade. So number two, we have nailed. I still think ETFs are coming at the end of the year. And I still think we need a huge thinning of the herd on all of these very, very scammy projects, of which we have 2,000 and some counting right now. So it's kind of out of control. With this brand new news break that we have going on with Finex and with USDT, this is kind of now. We all know that Tether has been scamish, right? Scamish, Dave, is that a good word? Scamish, a word?
Yes, sir. Most certainly.
There it is. All
Yeah.
right, so Tether has been very, very, very scamish, and a lot of us have questioned the illegitimate or ill-gotten gains or the ill-gotten uses of Tether over the last couple of years, especially the 2017 run, which was just crazy. And we saw a bunch of Tether pumps that we all experienced there 2018 during the super heavy bear market. Not 100% sure the bear market is over yet. I would still like to go down and retest. Another subject. Let's get back to the topic. So Finex and USDT have finally kind of fallen into the bear trap, right? So you got this gentleman named Mr. Fowler, and Mr. Fowler was the center of this investigation that's going on right now by the U.S. Attorney General's office. And they finally, what they did is they found a bunch of documentation that's all listed right here, and it's called the Master US Workbook, right? That they found in, and if you go down here, what it does is it kind of shows some idiot. I mean, listen, if you're gonna have financial crimes and you're gonna do financial crimes, I mean, this guy takes the cake right here, right? So the defendant has access to millions of dollars in bank accounts around the world, and they basically have tracked down 60 different bank accounts. 60 bank accounts right now with a total. So they say that they received over $740 million in 2018 alone. $740 million. Okay, and you wonder why we were in a bear market, right? When money is hemorrhaging out of the system, out of the ecosystem, to the tune of almost $750 million, what the hell you think, right? I mean, you have no choice but to be in a bear market when you literally have somebody drain off $750 million. Now, what they're saying is that right now that there's only 345 million left in those accounts as of today. So Mr. Fowler's been pulling money out of these accounts and sending it off to who knows where, but you're missing about $400 million as of right now. I'm sure the US government has seized this for $350 million as of today. I'm sure this is all kind of locked up, or at least what they can get access to and lock up. They've probably filed to have all this money locked up, but at this point, there's $400 million of missing money that's out there. And what they're saying is saying, hey, listen, this guy, if he does take off, he's got 400 million bucks. He can do whatever he wants and hide wherever he wants and travel wherever he wants, and they'd never get him back in the country, right? This is what's scary about this situation right here is how much information does Mr. Fowler have on what Finex involvement was. So that's kind of my $1 million question right here, or I should say my $750 million question, is how much information does Mr. Fowler have right now on what's actually going on inside, or what has occurred inside of the secret dwellings and the board meetings of Bitfinex, and how was Bitfinex associated with all of this? And I think this is really where the scary part gets, because now we do have a bunch of people all leaving and they're pulling their money off Finex. We see right now today that Finex is, look at Finex. 5,800, right? 5,800 on Finex, right? Wow. Okay, that's pretty freaking crazy. But I would like to have Dave chat about this a little bit also. Dave sent me some really good information on this today. So what are your thoughts on this this little mess we have going on here, Dave?
Uh, I'm still trying to figure it out, to be honest with
So
you, Bounce.
what do you think is happening with, what do you think Phoenix is actually doing right now behind the scenes? What do you think they've done? Do you think anything they've done is nefarious?
Well, of course. I mean, I do. But still, at the same time, they don't necessarily have to. In other words, they can still create Tether on Bitfinex without having to do anything with Tether on the books, you might say, as far as telling everybody, hey, we got 300 million, just like what they did last time. Hey, we have 300 million that we just added to the Tether pool or bank, you might say. They can do that on their own exchange without anybody knowing about it, and use it to purchase more Bitcoin, other altcoins, take those other, or transfer those other altcoins or Bitcoins that they purchase on Bitfinex to other exchanges to then sell for US dollars, to then try to cover up their mistake. Well, not mistake, to cover up their corruption.
Or Ponzi scheme?
Yeah, that's what I think they're up to right now.
So is it, here's the question. It's hard to say this is a Ponzi scheme, right? I wouldn't put it in the context of this is a Ponzi scheme right now. I would put it more into the way I look at USDT and how Tether was used was more like a, God, how would you describe, God, it's criminal, right? What do they call it? Come on, what do they call it? It's not insider trading. It's it's market manipulation.
Yes.
It's some form of market manipulation. So what they were doing is they were taking fake USDT, printing the shit out of it, pumping the market, and then dumping on people, right? Pump and dump and pump and dump and pump and dump, using Tether for their ill-gotten gains. Now, that would technically be a financial crime, but I wouldn't call that a Ponzi scheme, right? The bank, it's
Yes
right.
and no.
Yeah. Now, if they went out and like what people were talking about, they were trying to raise a new ICO or a new ICO for Tether, and they raised $1 billion. Now that would be a Ponzi scheme, right? To fill the gap, and then just
Yes.
bolt it on everybody. That would be a Ponzi scheme to me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but my thing is with Mr. Fowler. So what this guy's done, and what Finex has done with crypto capital. So crypto capital is the one who was holding the 850 million, I believe, that got seized, right? So
Correct.
in the in Mr. Fowler was acting as a bank. He was acting as a shadow bank, or a go between through between Finex and crypto capital and all these other bank accounts that they had set up all over the world. And I mean, I understand the question is the bank fraud. I get it. I understand the bank fraud, right? Because um, it's basically God, what do they call it? It's not just bank fraud. It's what do you call it when you hide money? Money laundering. It's basically
Yes.
money laundering. He was basically money laundering is what he was doing. So, because I'm sure they probably, God, can you imagine being the accountant for these guys, right? But
Mm.
that's more of a form of money laundering. I feel that he's going to get in trouble for than just the bank fraud. And here's my thought: it's not Mr. Fowler, I think, that's going to be end up kind of being the guy they're going for. I really think they're going to go after the exchange, right? Because I think that Mr. Fowler was just kind of in charge of, hey, how do we hide this money? Let's get Mr. Fowler to do it. And he would be the one that they would say, okay, well, here's all this money. You need to hide it. And that was his job. The true crime that I see in this whole thing isn't from Mr. Fowler. The true crime is how Bitfinex used Tether in order to manipulate the markets and in order to steal people's money, basically by manipulating the markets, by just being the order desk and the trading desk, and they had access to all the information and they would just wreck people at will. And I think that's the true crime that they're really trying to get to. Mr. Fowler just happens to be the stooge that they're going to use to take down Bitfinex. And I think the issue is once they get inside Bitfinex and they can actually figure out how they were doing it and see what they were doing, then they're going to start to look at all the other exchanges. And that's where the other exchanges really right now should be very afraid, right? And when I
I
talk,
totally agree with that. I totally agree with that because I've often wondered if the other exchanges may also be creating derivatives of coins, tokens, meaning they don't have. In other words, they just created them out of thin air. May have possibly created their own separate accounts, small accounts with fictitious names on them or whatever. Say, okay, let me give you X amount of Bitcoin, X amount of Ethereum on multiple accounts, just created out of thin air. Meaning they really don't have all those coins there per se as far as what's on the blockchain. They're not actual blockchain coins and tokens. They're just derivatives of those coins and tokens. That's what I'm afraid may end up being found out, even on even on Binance. I hope not, but that's what I'm afraid of.
so that goes to a really good point. So if we all look at the tether pumps that occurred, right? We've all seen that. You could, and God bless Mr. Bitfinex, the gentleman on Twitter who has for 2 years dedicated his life to uncover this. That one of the things that I want to see, and I think that they'll finally get down to it, is if you remember, what would happen is they'd print $700 million of Tether. And then what they would do is they would take that $700 million and they would put some on Binance, some on Bitfinex, some on Kraken, some on, they would move it out to all these exchanges, and then they would use it on the exchanges as like this big. It would look like a natural, like, oh my God, look at all the buying that's going on all these different exchanges, when in reality I think it was controlled by just a very few people. And for me, just like you're saying right now, when they were doing this, how complicit was Bitfinex? Because we know Bitfinex was based on USDT. We know that tons of Bitfinex have been moved to, that have been pumped up in Binance. We know that Kraken has we know that Kraken was over there, and we know that they now here's the thing: how complicit were these exchanges and the use of Tether in order to manipulate the markets and defraud people? I think that's one of the
Well,
questions.
I've never done this before, but I believe uh, people can do this as far as you can transfer Tether tokens from one exchange to another, can't you? Doesn't it have a wallet
That's
and
a
on
good
key,
that's a good
just like
question.
anything
Yeah, you
else?
must be able to. Yeah, you absolutely must be able to transfer Tether.
Which goes to show where could easily be, just like I said, derivatives of uh, Tether tokens created on Bitfinex. They transfer them over to other exchanges, buy actual real coins, withdraw them from those exchanges in an effort to try to get themselves out of the mess that they're in.
Yeah. Well, they I think the mess they were in, they just were
Well, they're
they were
caught now, and they're
they're
trying to get out of it now. That's why they even admitted to having only 74% backed at the moment because they're trying. They see they've been caught, so they're trying to come. They're telling half truths while behind the scenes, in my opinion, trying to gather up money or whatever. Because it may be much worse than what we're thinking. I still believe that they created derivatives of Tether. I believe it's way more than 2.8 billion Tether out there. I believe it's probably 5 to 10 times as much. That's my opinion, if not more.
wow. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Because they would just use that at will, and it would really be useless at that point, right? I mean, if that were the case, then Tether would be worth 25 cents a Tether.
Yeah, yeah. In my opinion, Binance, all of them, they need to stop all withdrawals or deposits of Tether.
Yeah. But how much are these exchanges sitting on in bags of Tether? Because we know they're sitting on big bags. The CZ tried to say it was customers' bags of USDT, but come on, man, come on. Back in all through 2008, that was the only stable coin that Binance had. The only stable coin they had was
Mm-hmm.
USDT. So don't feed us that. How where was your money at? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Where was your money, Binance? Because that's all you had was USDT for people to use. So, now they can say, oh, well, whatever. But CZ came out with a pretty weak, we don't hold any bags of USDT. Well, what do you hold?
yeah.
They sure as hell don't hold Bitcoin, right? Maybe
No,
now they do. Maybe now they do after they pumped the bottom of the market.
yeah. I don't know if you've heard, but I've heard in the news lately too. Binance is looking to create a stablecoin as well. But
Which they should have done along. Which I mean, honestly, dude, BNB is the best stable coin out there.
I agree.
I mean, and I have told people this for years. BNB is one of the most beautiful tokens. I mean, it is completely manipulated by lovely gentleman CZ. I mean, whenever he feels like he wants to pump, he just does a coin burn. And when the market picks back up into a bear and bull market, all he has to do is just print more BNB.
Yeah,
He can print it and burn it at will.
but I believe the only way to keep everything legit with stable coins is have stable coins associated only with one exchange. That's it. It cannot be transferred to other exchanges. That way, that exchange that creates the stable coin can be audited at any time to see that they do, in fact, have all of those stable coins backed up by actual US dollars, euros, whatever it is they want to back it up with, so that they can be audited or do their own audit from an independent auditor, of course. But just for transparency to show everybody, yes, look, they're all backed up. We don't transfer them. They cannot be transferred anywhere else. So nobody else can create a derivative of this stable coin, et cetera, because just the way that Tether was done, being able to be transferred to all the other exchanges, those exchanges can easily just create fictitious accounts and say, all right, we'll give you this much Tether. You know.
Darcy has a couple good questions. Darcy said, "Hey, I want to see the number of BTC they actually own versus how many they've sold and that people think they own." Darcy, I agree with you 100%. Now here goes to another question. This is basically what Darcy's saying is, listen, if you're holding BTC as an exchange, the definition of an exchange is technically the legal definition of a regulated exchange is that the regulated exchange is supposed to be completely neutral, right? In whatever marketplace they're in. They're supposed to just be there as a place for people to come and trade and buy and sell and do it. They're not supposed to partake in any way of influencing the marketplace, right? And just like Darcy says, that's a good question. How much have they bought? How much have they sold? Where maybe. And now I'm just gonna throw this out here, okay? Usually, you get a letter from the U.S. government first, or your lawyer gets a letter from the U.S. government first, right? And I want to pop this up here, right? And I'm gonna make a tweak, right? I have a thought, right, on how shady the pump was, right? Just listen to me for 1 second here, right? What I'm trying to say is that I think that USDT got a letter from the US government, right? That said you're fucked, right? Oop. All right. Right at that point, Finex and the other shady USDT exchanges said, "Oh crap," and spot bought 21,000 BTC to dump their bags. Right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right? They would have known about this in advance. Right?
Yep.
So I really feel that I think that they knew this was coming, and I think that spot buy was to dump a shitload of bags. No one has tracked down where all that buy came from, right? Where that spot order came from.
Correct.
No one knows where that came from, and boy, that just came at a pretty convenient time right before all of this mess went down, just a few weeks later, right? I mean, when did we have the pump? What day did we have the pump on? Right? What day was that?
That was on the 3-day candle I see, that was April 1st, thereabouts. Let me go to the daily. 24H.
Yep, there it is right there.
April 2nd.
2nd. Yep, April 2nd. So we're almost due. We're exactly 30 days to the date that went off. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, April Fool's Day, that's right. What I'm saying is that I think that they got a letter right around here right? And I would love to see when that letter came. I think that Mr. Fowler's lawyers got a letter from the US Gov around here. Then all of the shady USDT exchanges dumped their bags. Because
When was it? When was it in March that that Tether changed their? I want to. Whenever they changed, whenever they said it's not backed up by cash, but now it's backed up by cash, other assets, other cash equivalents.
Yeah, when
Uh,
was that? Do we know? Can anybody find out when that was? When did
it
they
was in
come up?
March. I just can't remember what day in March, just before April 2nd. So, I mean, again, they could have also
When was that? Can
Tether
you
out of thin air on their exchange, transferred it to other exchanges, and that's
DT
how that use Tether and use that to buy
that
Bitcoin and other
they
coins. That's why we see the run up.
that USDT was not. Can you confirm that date? Can you go back and Google that?
All right.
Backed 121 with USD. They had to have been covering their butts from the letter from the U.S. government. I bet this was like down here somewhere. And this bad boy was like over here. And then where was the latest? When did we just get that the last letter? So what day did that happen? Hold on a second. So that happened April 25th, right? Right. So then we got April 25th, which is right there. April 25th, right? This is when USDT. This is when USDT fell out. Right? This is the day that USDT fell out, is right here. Right? This is people dumping USDT to BTC and also dumping to get off of Bitfinex. Correct? There we go. All right, can you find the day?
I'm still looking for it. I might have to go to a YouTube channel where I heard it.
JC said, wasn't that about the same time Finex reopened up to everyone, no more 10K minimum?
That I'm not sure of.
Good question, Joe. JC, if you can find that day, that'd be awesome. Okay. And then just today, let's go. I'm going to take this back. Let's do this on a daily time frame. That'll be better. Today, the U.S. Attorney's Office has requested that Mr. Fowler be detained to custody.
Yep.
And BTC goes up again. Right? And BTC goes up again. Right? Unbelievable.
Yeah, I
Right?
saw that coming in the daily.
More Finex fuckery. Right? I mean, this is people dumping USDT. It's what it's got to be. I mean, yeah, you see the USDT chart right here. Oh, here we go. Darce has got it. Darce has Hong Kong cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex. Ah, perfect. April 9th. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right.
Oh, it was in April instead of March?
April, right here. Right? Bitfinex removes 10K limit. Good find, Darce.
Oh, that's on the 10K limit, not as far as
That's the minimum. So it's the
it's
minimum.
well, I'm talking about when they changed the rule where their tether was no longer backed by just USD cash alone. It was backed up by cash, other assets, and they said other uh, cash equivalents. That was the phrase that was used.
To use the two for new customers. Oh crap. The end is coming. There we go. All right. Anybody have those other days that we're looking for?
I'm on Bitfinex Twitter page.
Yeah, he's got all the good information.
I'm scrolling down through his. I'm currently at April 11th, still scrolling down because I know it's sometime in March.
Yeah. Go to Google. When did USDT announce they were not one-to-one?
Oh, well, that was just yesterday, maybe, as far as that goes.
February 7th. Concerns giving way. That was February 7th. That's a long time ago. Anybody know what day? Oh, here. No, April 2000. There we go. Stable launch by. No, it's when. Oh, dude. Tether has started issuing its stablecoin on Tron. Whoops. Nope, there we go. All right, Darcy's got it. Good job, Darce. Tether emits. All right, so it was. Oh, shit, that's a year ago. Yeah, this is super old. We need the brand new one. We need the brand new one. There's a brand new one where they just came out and said that they're backed. Where is it? USDT news. Or maybe Tether. Yeah, see, the problem is this was already. It's April 30th. A lot of this is April 30th. All right, so April 30th is the day. April 30th. That doesn't make sense, right? Are you sure it's April 30th? Yeah, Darce, I agree, buddy. USDT, Tether. Act 1-to-1. Hold on a second. So we're going to cancel this. That was right there. And what I think is right here. Okay. All the USDT exchanges. Didn't want to get caught holding big bags, so they spot bought 21,000 BTC to dump. How much is that? Their bags. How much is that? Anybody know how much money was it? How much money was the buy? Anybody know?
Well, that 21,000.
Ooh, Joseph, good find, buddy. May 1st, so the 30th, April 30th. Yep, April 30th. What I want to see, May 3rd, okay? So what I want to see is when can we see, where's those legal documents that got sent to Tether? Who has those? Can someone Google those legal documents? Oh, there it is. April 24th. I'm looking for dates on here. Listen, lawyers don't make up a document like this in one day. See, here's where they're blaming crypto capital for everything. See, these fuckers, see, they knew this. Out of abundance of caution, in or about January or February 2019, Bitfinex proactively and voluntarily informed the Office of the Attorney General of its issues and compliant concerns. These fuckers, see, they knew it. They knew it right here. January and February. See, they already knew this. There it is right there. See, this is November 2018. See, they knew the noose was tightening in January and February. In February 2019, well before the line of credit transaction closed, Tether updated the disclosures on its websites. All right, so this is okay, perfect. So I'm going to have this. Okay. Let's stretch this out. We're going to make a new one.
I'm putting the link to that in the chat. March 14th was whenever they changed cryptocurrency that claimed to be backed by cash, no longer solely backed by cash. That's where they were saying that, and I'm going to read it word verbatim. The only change is that the composition of the assets that provide that backing includes a combination of cash equivalents, and may also include other assets or receivables from loans issued by Tether.
March 14th. See, they knew they were busted because they'd already sent this stuff to the U.S. government. Got it. Okay, perfect. So March. What day is that? March 14th.
The article came out March 14th, and which more than likely Tether posted that. Tether, Block One, which is EOS, Bitfinex, they're all owned by the same group of people.
So this guy had to get this letter way back here somewhere. Okay, because in 2014, so in February, well before the line of credit transaction closed, Tether updated the disclosures on its website. All right, so we got that. Okay, so that happened right there. And what is February? They said February. No, what they give the date. What was the date? February 2019. So that's January. Here's February. All right.
And that 20,000 Bitcoin on April 2nd, 20,000 Bitcoin on one exchange is approximately 85 million if you average it out at 4,250 a piece. But of course, they bought it all the way up to 5,000. So
how much was it?
if at 4,250 a piece, but remember they ran it up to 5,000. But if you average it out at 4,250 a piece, that's $85 million on one exchange. In that case, that's Bitstamp. But they ran it up. It was all the USD exchanges, by the way. Which,
What exchanges?
well, I know it was three main exchanges: Coinbase, Kraken, and Stamp. Those three, from what I heard,
Kraken,
what I saw in another news
Stamp,
article.
Coinbase. I think it was on Coinbase.
Yeah, Coinbase, Kraken,
Coinbase.
and Stamp.
Coinbase doesn't have.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It was mainly on USD exchanges where it ran up that much. But I mean,
But where
all
were
the
the
other.
buys? Yeah, but where did the buys come from? Because they tell you where the buys happened at. So it says the buys happen on Kraken, Stamp, and Coinbase.
I just remember that from an article on that day that came out that day or the next day, which I guess would have been April 3rd if you look at
Yeah, let's look
uh,
at.
news articles for April 3rd or April 2nd.
Can you post that in the chat?
Well, I need to look up an article for it. Just a moment. Bitcoin pump April 2019. And let me say news.
Between December 2018 and April 2019, daily. Look, they said that they're treating the Tethers. Bitfinex treats Tether as a slush fund. There we go. All right, good article. Good article. That's exactly what I was looking for. All right, perfect. All right, that's good stuff right there. All right. All right, and yeah, can someone find the link to? Oh, is this it right here? Yeah, no, I want the 21,000 BTC spot buy. Yeah, it definitely wasn't a short squeeze. This implies 95 million of purchasing. Nope. Oh, thank you so much. Great find, buddy. Good find. Thank you. I'm going to post that over here in the members area. Give me a second here. Awesome. Thank you very much. All right.
The market cap increased by 18 billion on April 2nd.
Crazy.
Of course, much of that could have been with Tether they created out of thin air.
Exchanges did that.
That's billion with a B.
Yeah, it's crazy. Somebody had a great article on this.
Yeah, I remember one where they even broke it down to 3 USD exchanges, not Tether exchanges, where 20,000 Bitcoin were purchased in a matter of about 3 hours. Which is about $100 million as far as the run up from 4,200 to 5,000.
Yeah.
But again, that's just on one exchange.
Mm.
But the entire market cap though increased by 18 billion that day.
Yeah.
And which I wish I knew the article that I know it's over 80% of all crypto traded is in USD Tether. So if the market cap increased by 18 billion in that one day, and 80% of that is Tether, I mean, that alone should tell you there's more than 2.8 billion Tether out there. It's more like the 5-10 times more that I was saying earlier. Most of it being derivatives that they create, that each exchange creates out of thin air. Or that Bitfinex was probably a little bit of both. As far as exchanges creating them out of thin air, add them to fictitious accounts that they create on their own, but also Bitfinex creating it out of thin air, not telling anybody, adding it to accounts that they, fictitious accounts that they make up on their exchange, transferred to other exchanges, and then buy the actual coins, the real assets.
Mm. Yep. Shit.
This is all one big mess.
Yeah. All right. Okay, I got this. All right, I like it. All right, I'm going to reduce you down. All right, everybody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this portion of the show. I'm going to set this, and I'll record this later because it was a very good discussion. All right, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to actually do a discussion on price action, okay? So give me 1 second, everybody.
I'm going to get me a cup of coffee. I'll be back in about 1 minute.
Go for it, man.